I'll just talk about the running backs. We got Aiden Dennis, dog. Dodie Devon, dog. Sir Hale, dog. He scored 5 touchdowns against Southside. RJ Hogue, dog. Sam Cale, I didn't even know he played running back, but he's a dog. Evan Linker, man. He's a linebacker in my eyes, but I guess he can run the ball. Dog. And then Quentin Roach, he plays baseball, but he gets after it. All SAC first-team baseball player right there, and now he's out here playing football. You know, how about that?
He's a dog.
Quentin Roach is a dog. Absolutely.
See those little black boxes? They're called telephones. I'm going to let you on a little secret about these telephones. They're not going to dial themselves.
Would you like to answer a question right at this particular time? Would you like to do that?
I've got one phone number and one nickel left. Well, start using it.
Here comes the mailman.
Mail time.
Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here. When you control the mail, you control information.
I'm ready for
Wow. Brand new open, brand new season. Welcome to the Sleeperwire Mailsack. It is the preseason show, episode 1. Not exactly sure what we're going to talk about today, but really, that's up to you, the listener. So this is cool. It's a live call-in advice show. If you're tuned in today and you're watching or listening live, this phone number will get you direct access to these experts to ask all your fantasy questions before the season even starts. The phone number is 207-407-5337. Again, that's 207-40-SLEEP. 207-40-SLEEP. Just spell it out on your phone, and you can reach us. And we're going to be taking questions from chats, from Facebook, from YouTube, and from Periscope. But if you call that number, you jump the line. We'll talk to you first. We actually already have a caller in the queue. Steve from Arizona is waiting for us, but I got to introduce you to my talent today. I've got, starting over here, we've got Natter. He's the current host of the Sleepwire show here. You probably heard his voice. He is on Twitter at @TopTierTactics_. And of course, Who's the Prophet? Late as usual. He may be joining us later. We got a new guy, Don. He's in the corner there. He's got the, what is that, little mohawk thing in a very messy bedroom. I like that. At the Don Corleone 7 on Twitter. And the big return, I don't know what this dude's been up to in the offseason, so we're going to have to find out later. Jordan Rich, at your boy J Rich, isn't it? Is that what it is?
Nailed it.
At your boy J Rich. All right. So on Twitter, he was let me think if I can remember. Dynasty, Devi, graphic design, and Canadian. Those are the 4 things you know about him, right? All right. There you go. I'm producer Steve. Write down the number 207-40-SLEEP, 207-407-5337. Let's talk to Steve from Arizona. Steve, thanks for calling the Sleepwire show. You are on. What is your question?
First-time listener, first-time caller. Steve Sandpuppies on Sleeper. I had a question for the group.
Nice.
Do you think Deandre Swift is a value, a bargain right now at his ADP, or a bust?
I'll start it off. I think he's going exactly where he should be going. He's, a lot of potential, raw talent, but there's going to be opportunities. He's going to have touches. He's going to have touchdown opportunities. But I mean, like I just said, it's not for sure. So I think he's perfect at his ADP.
So you're already, Steve, you're putting us in a tough spot because you said, is he a value or is he a bust? Why can't he be somewhere in the middle? Like if he misses 2 games, is he a bust? Probably not. I still think he's a value based off of where he's going right now. Like he's not in that Clyde Edwards-Helaire tier, not in the Antonio Gibson tier. He's down with J.K. Dobbins, who we know doesn't catch passes and is going to get vultured by Gus Edwards. So from that standpoint, I think he's a great value. It just depends on, is he available for 15 games, 16 games, 17 games? We're not sure if he's on track for week 1. They're saying it's kind of like a maybe. Dan Campbell says he's not sure about his fitness. But if he plays every game, I personally think he's going to be a value this season.
Yeah, puppies, you know how I play you week 1 in our Dynasty League? I'm going to go with he's not a value, and he's going to be a complete bust. But on a serious note, with Jamal Williams catching about 90% of the passes on the last team he played for, and the Lions being the Lions and playing from behind majority of the year, I don't think Deandre Swift is going to be that third down back that you really want him to be. So between me and you, bust. But I think that he's going to have a ton of volume, 200, 220-ish touches this year, and the talent's there. So I wish you luck week 1. You did beat me in the finals last year, but I will see you again in the finals, my friend.
Just a quick side note. I looked on the Detroit website, and they currently have DeAndre Swift practicing separately, not even with the team, with the groin injury. So right now, that was mentioned earlier, his week 1 questionability against the Niners is, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play. I mean, he's going against the Niners. They're probably not expected to win that game. They might sit him out a little.
Yeah, but at what point, though, is he... Like, at what point do you think it's a risk? If you get him for 15 games, is that still worth it? And the point about him not catching passes, come on, really? You think he's not going to catch passes because of Jamal Williams? Like, is that like you're being 100% right now? You're like not joking.
No, he's definitely going to catch passes. I just don't think it's okay. I just don't think as many as me and Sam Peppies have a side bet on him finishing as a top 8 running back going into next year. And I just think that Jamal Williams is going to cut into a little bit more of his work than Sam Puppies Steve is predicting he will. So that's just my take on it.
Now, his ceiling is 2,000 yards total yards. Yeah. He could be 2 Taylor Swift as my co-host.
It just comes down to how bad is that team, that line, and that offense. But I think, to your point, the ceiling is immensely high for Swift.
No, I would like to ask, would you rather have Swift or Chris Carson?
I mean, I think that with DJ Dallas behind Carson and Jamal Williams behind Carson and the offense being a little bit better on the Seahawks, I mean, a lot better on the Seahawks, I'm going to say Chris Carson, since they both have injury risks kind of written over them this year. I'd probably go with Chris Carson. Has a little more upside than DeAndre Swift.
Mr. Jordan?
See, I think I'm still taking Swift. I believe in the talent. Chris Carson is interesting, because even in the beginning of the year last year, he wasn't seeing the carry load that we expected from Chris Carson. Like we expected him to be that bruiser, that hammer. He wasn't quite seeing that. He was actually doing a lot more damage in the receiving game. I'm not so worried about DJ Dallas. Like they're talking about him potentially just being the kick returner. Not a whole lot of value there for fantasy goes. But I would take Swift. I think he has a higher upside. And obviously, if you're playing in a PPR league, you want to get those receptions, which I think he should easily outcatch Chris Carson and could easily outrush him as well.
I don't think anybody's counting or doubting Swift's ability. I think it's the team around him that people are just kind of doubting. And but if that's the case, then I think people have to also put that in account for Alvin Kamara about the team around him other than him. But I mean, everybody says, hey, if he's the only talent, he's going to get immense amount of volume. I think you have to put that same argument for Swift as well.
All right, and you look at the same thing. Sorry about Najee Harris is like another point with the offensive line and how bad they are. Swift is going to deal with the same issues, but he's a supreme talent that I think will win out overall.
I just think that the quarterback situation over there is going to leave them in a lot less red zone situations. And I feel like touchdowns are going to come into play as far as how many points Swift's going to score this year. And I think it's going to be around 8-9 touchdowns total for Swift. So I have him a little lower than a lot of people.
Now, I'm going to come out and say in support of Jared Goff. I think he could be a very good fantasy asset, not necessarily as a starter, but he has propelled a lot of players around him. He has always supported 2 to 3 wide receivers. I mean, with the Rams, it was Cook, Woods, and Cooper Kupp. So, I mean, I don't doubt his ability to propel fantasy relevant players. He might not be the best NFL quarterback, but when it comes fantasy wise, he puts up numbers for everybody else around him. I wouldn't stay away from this offense just because, we think the quarterback's bad. That doesn't matter in fantasy wise.
Yeah.
I can see that matter.
Steve, thank you for the phone call. We got a couple questions from the Sleeper app. So, guys, if you're not part of the Sleeper app, I have to restart my audio engine. For some reason, my voice suddenly sounds like
you got some reverb or something.
Can you hear that? It's on my end. It sounded like it got pitch shifted down. All right, we got another
now
caller.
You're good.
Okay, I fixed it. Let's take this caller. Hey, you called in. Let's see who it is. Oh, they terminated their call. Hey, should we call them back? Never mind. They're calling back. Let's see who this is.
Let's call
All right,
him
guys,
then.
call the phone number if you want to talk to us. Jump the line. Hey, caller, thanks for calling the Sleeperwire Mailsack. What's your name and what is your question?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Jesus.
Hey, Zeus!
Hey,
Go!
Zeus, what's good, bro?
What's going on? I have
How are they gonna wait? Stop. How are they gonna do this year, man? Give us a prediction.
if the defense goes top 20, we're in the playoffs.
All right, I like it. I like it. Hey,
it's all
Zeus
on
is
the
our
defense,
resident.
man.
Hey,
As long
Zeus
as
is
they're
our
top 20,
resident
we're in the playoffs.
Raiders fan here. Where every time he calls, we yell
That's
Raiders. Sometimes I play the theme music by Ice Cube for him. Hey, Zeus, what do you got for us this year?
What's up? All right. I already did one draft. I just want to know how many wide receiver ones do you guys think I have in that one? So I drafted 7. And here's the guys. It's I have Amari Cooper, Tyler Lockett, Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, Devonta Smith, Brian Edwards, and Henry Ruggs.
As of right now, statistically, you have 1. Potentially, you have about 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, if Lockett catches 100 balls again, I mean, he may be a low-end wide receiver 1. Cooper has so much competition, but he's always put out. So, in my opinion, I would say maybe 2, because I just don't feel like Deontay Johnson with all those weapons, especially with that new tight end coming in on the Steelers, that it's going to be hard for him to kind of break into that wide receiver 1 range.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you probably got 1.5 or 2.
Oh, Jesus can't hear us. Why?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. He can hear me. He can't hear you. Of course. It's always something. Let me try to change that. Hey, Zeus, I'm going to put you on hold. Would you guys mind repeating that so he can hear you? I'm going to put him on hold so he can hear your answer. Go ahead.
So statistically, you have currently 1 wide receiver 1. Potentially, you have about 3 or 4 if everything works out.
Yeah, and I just feel that out of everyone you just listed, Tyler Lockett may creep into that wide receiver 1 conversation if they're letting Russ cook this year, because he did catch 100 balls. And I don't really feel like we actually got a wide receiver 3 coming in. And as far as Amari Cooper, I feel like if Dak can stay healthy, because he is practicing this next coming week, that he actually could do what he usually does and break into that wide receiver 1 range. As far as Deontay Johnson, who I think is the 3rd capable player coming into your lineup that could do well, I just feel with Claypool, Juju, Najee, Eric Ebron, and Freiermuth that there's a little too many mouths to feed over there for him to break in. So I would say out of those 7, probably 2 wide receiver 1s in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say that probably my 2 would be Deontay and Cooper as the 2 main wide receiver 1s. And that's just because of the volume, like Lockett could get there because he does see a lot of red zone targets, but he doesn't see a supreme target ceiling like we see out of a Cooper, out of a Deontay, and even like AB probably won't get there to the targets. I mean, we can hope, we can dream, but I don't think he's going to take away 130 targets in that offense, but maybe on kind of the outside shot. I'd say you have about 1.5 to 2. Maybe we give half to Lockett, half to Deontay. I think Deontay personally has a better shot myself.
I mean, Lockett arguably has 3 wide receiver 1 years in a row. If you go in a little different scoring formats. And I just don't think that they're going to be throwing less, especially with the division kind of ramping up on the Rams and on the Cardinals. So I feel like Lockett is kind of a really great value pick going in 3 to the 4th round. And I would just actually really expect the Seahawks to cook it up this year. But I'm a Seahawks fan, so I might be a little bit biased.
I don't know. If they want to win a Super Bowl, they run the ball. If they want to just go for stats, they pass the ball. And I don't think that team is a non-Super Bowl contention. I think they'll be running more.
What's going on?
Hey, Zeus, can you hear them now?
I can hear you.
You can just hear me. All right. So I don't know. There's something wrong with the phones. But did you hear the answer?
No, I can't hear you.
That's a fail.
It's cool. I'll listen to it later.
Okay. Yeah, I'll post
do.
the replay. I'll post the replay. I'm sorry, dude. I didn't get a chance to test it out. Preseason.
Big Zeus.
I'm not going to make the starting roster.
It's preseason for everybody. No worries, man. It's preseason for everybody. So.
All right. Okay, buddy. We'll talk to you. We'll talk to you in a couple weeks then.
All right. Let me get one more question in though.
Yeah, go ahead.
And then they could just answer and I'll listen to it. I have another league. I have a second overall pick. Who are you guys taking and why? I want to go running back, but I know who's has that zero strategy thing, but I think top 5 is too early for a zero running back strategy. I'm thinking maybe on the second turnaround, I'll go wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, wide receiver, wide receiver. But just let me know that who you guys taking as the second overall pick and why, and then you guys think Deshaun Watson plays this season.
Hey,
Started off. Okay, go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Go, Natter, go ahead. I want to see if he can hear you.
Okay. So first question, Watson doesn't play. Second question, you're taking Dalvin Cook, and your reason is because of Dalvin Cook, and you probably want a second RB actually on the turnaround. I would probably go Antonio Gibson, or in that area, CEH. You can go on CEH, Antonio Gibson.
Probably the two, yeah.
I doubt. Yeah, no, I doubt Austin Eckler will still be there, but if he's there, I'd definitely scoop up Eckler. And then from there, from the third and fourth, I would probably go wide receiver because there's going to be a large gap between your third and your fourth pick. After you do that, you're going to have to wait. I think mathematically, it's 17 picks. Until then, you're not going to get another RB after that. So RB, and then wide receiver. I don't know who's going to be there for the third. That is always a little bit of a mystery on who takes a wide receiver. You're probably looking at probably an AJ Brown. I don't know if that's a little too early for that. That's probably still too early for a Julio Jones. You're still going to get a wide receiver one in that spot, but then after the turnaround there, you'd probably look for a Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp type of person in the fourth overall pick.
Go ahead, Jay.
How about Waller with the third round? Because I really don't want to be struggling for tight end, and I think he'll be there.
Yeah, if he's there, he's basically a wide receiver one in the tight end position. I'll never flock anybody for taking a tight end early.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're a big Raiders fan, and Waller in the third is always a great pick for positional advantage at the tight end slot. I think Waller ended in wide receiver 7 numbers. And I actually do agree with Natter, even though we don't agree very often. Dalvin Cook is the number 2 pick. He's just the engine of that offense, and he catches so many balls. So going with a decently ran offense with 2 kind of premium wide receivers is going to balance that out, opposed to going like a Alvin Kamara, where they don't really have that offensive core without 2 great wide receivers. So I would probably go maybe a Deandre Swift even on the way back, because with all the news coming out that he might not play week 1, he might fall a little bit more. Without him, you could probably go a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, kind of in that same trajectory of a little bit of banged up, so he might fall a little bit, but there's still maybe like a little under 2 weeks before the season starts, so you might get a lot of value out of that.
All right, Jesus.
I would say I completely agree with everything. Yeah.
You good? You good?
Yeah. Just what do you guys think about Chase Edmonds? Do you guys think he's going to be posting running back 1 numbers?
No.
I mean,
Kyler Murray's RB1. Everybody has to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, running back 1 numbers, not unless James Conner goes down. I mean, in certain weeks he might be posting RB1 numbers, but overall RB1. Overall RB1 numbers, Kyler Murray rushed that in so much near the goal line, and they're going to be using him like that. I think they're going to be using a lot more in the red zone, a lot less running between the lines. So I don't think Chase Edmonds is RB1, but if you do go 0 RB strategy, that's a great pickup around round 5-6-ish to kind of get you really solid RB2 numbers.
All right. Yeah, I think I took him around that round, but he's gonna be like my flex. Worst comes to worst if he even gets there,
I love that. Yeah, and he's going to be running through brick walls, he said, this year. So I think he's a very motivated running back that's going to do well in your flex for sure.
He's not running through brick walls.
That one I have Chubb and Josh Jacobs as my main running backs.
All right, Hayes,
go Raiders.
We love your team. You're gonna have a good year, I think. I feel it. All right, we look forward to talking to you again, man. I got other calls. You know how it goes.
Zeus.
I gotta cut you loose. Go Raiders! Go Raiders!
No worries, Raiders.
All right, buddy. All right, I don't know who this is. Steve from Arizona is coming up after this caller. Let's see who this is. Hey, caller, what's your name and what's your question?
My name's Jason. I'm from Texas. My question is, what do y'all think about DJ Moore? Did y'all try to trade him? Do y'all think he's going to have a good year again?
I like DJ Moore. He has the ability to do everything from run after catch, run short, intermediate, and deep routes. I mean, he's had worse quarterbacks than Sam Darnold, and he still put up productive numbers. I'm keeping him, and I'm probably starting him no matter what.
See, I'm thinking that Robbie Anderson is going to be the number one there.
I mean,
all that money. Sam Darnold's going over there. He's comfortable throwing to him. I mean, I don't know. Do y'all think I can try to maybe get something for him while he's still,
I think it depends on what you're trying to get, right? Like, what are you trying to get for DJ Moore? Because I don't know about Adder, but do you know how many touchdowns DJ Moore has in his career?
Oof, I don't know that statistic off the top of my head now.
Give me a number that you think.
12.
He has 10 for his whole
10?
career.
Okay.
10 touchdowns. So we know that's his limiting factor. He hasn't scored the touchdowns. He gets the yards. When I did the math, he averages a touchdown every 300 receiving yards, which is insanely low. Is he going to get better with Sam Darnold? We don't know. But I think there is still a lot of hype around DJ Moore of what he could be, that tantalizing upside. And so it depends on what it is I think you're trying to get for DJ Moore, but I could see a scenario where it would be a good bet to make a trade. But it also depends on what you're going after. He could easily have 1,200 yards, but we don't know if he's going to get even 6 touchdowns, right? Robbie Anderson could also have 1,000 yards, but he may be the guy who sees 6-7 touchdowns versus DJ Moore, who last year, I believe, had 1,150 yards and only had 4 touchdowns, which is just, it's not quite good enough for someone you're drafting in the 4th, 5th round, sometimes even earlier.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at it. His ADP, I think, is right now 57. So if it's a 12-team league, that's about late 4th to early 5th, depending, of course, falls a little bit, stays where he's at. Just about there.
Yeah.
Realistically, if you want to go trade value, he's probably worth an RB2. But do you really want an RB2 for DJ Moore? Is that worth it in your opinion? Like, the last person he had Chase Edmonds. Like, would you trade DJ Moore for Chase Edmonds?
Ronald Jones, James Conner.
Oh,
no, I'd rather DJ Moore.
You're going down too many tiers.
Yeah.
You'd want to trade up for like a David Montgomery if you believe in David Montgomery, like kind of going up a tier that way. I think you could probably honestly trade
David Montgomery.
DJ Moore. Like, how far do you think you have to add to get Chris Carson from DJ Moore?
You probably have to add an RB2. Honestly, Chris Carson has RB1 potential.
Chris Carson's an RB,
but his ADP isn't that high though, is it?
Round
Chris
3,
Carson, yeah, mid-3rd.
Yeah, I mean, DJ Moore, in my opinion, is DJ, but it's not music to my ears, and always leaves you wanting a little bit more. I feel like with the Robbie Anderson contract, like you said, with the connection with Sam Darnold over on the Jets, it's going to drop his stock a little bit. So if you're trying to get him, if he falls 6th, 7th round, he's definitely going to be a staple on your team in a flex play. But if you're looking to trade for a running back, I would say maybe a Darrell Henderson with the injury coming out on the thumb being a strain.
No,
he's kind of
now though, not with Sony.
He's kind of big. Yeah, I think Sony's going to be a depth play. I don't think Sony jumps the depth chart above Xavier Jones. I honestly don't. So Darrell's going to be in a committee on a good offense that actually utilizes the running backs. So I would say going that route, if you wanted to trade for an RB, Darrell Henderson is my opinion.
I can't trust Darrell Henderson. I don't want that at all.
What about going after like Woods or Cup? Do you think there's
I do that all day.
Right, see, you're maybe getting a little bit closer because they're going to have to throw a ton, right? They're going to have to throw a ton now.
Woods, I even tried to throw Ronald Jones and DJ Moore at him for Woods, and we wouldn't have it.
Yeah, Woods is just a beast of another kind.
I wish he would. Woods is going to be a baller like he always is this year, especially with especially with Stafford coming over.
Now, something to think about is that DJ Moore currently has the second easiest strength of schedule. And if you think about it, he plays Jets week 1, week 3, 4, 5, Houston, Dallas, Philadelphia. After that, Minnesota, and then Atlanta. I mean, he has a very easy schedule if you really look at it. I'm kind of interested.
Yeah. And he's in a good division for throwing the football. So
yeah, they're not winning games. The Panthers not winning too many games.
No.
They'll be passing a lot.
We said
it's
that
just,
last
it's
year.
just
Nothing's changed for them. That's the
think,
problem.
I
They
mean,
just have Sam Darnold. Do we
I
like
got-
Sam Darnold? And I don't think anyone does. Not yet.
I like it more than Bridgewater,
fantasy wise. Yeah.
fantasy wise.
I actually have Sam Darnold too. It's a super flex league. So
Oh yeah, you're done.
Oh,
That's
then
it.
you gotta,
See,
then you gotta hold. Then you gotta
Yeah.
hold, man.
Yeah, stack
you
'em.
gotta, you
Just
gotta run
stack
the
'em.
stack. You gotta run.
You're on the stack at that point. Yeah,
Stack
Matter
that changes
upside.
everything.
Yeah.
Stacks matter. You know, every
Got this,
every stack
Jason.
matters.
Stack
Even
them
the Brandon
cakes.
Cooks, Tyrod Taylor stack, it still matters.
Uh-huh.
That's where the line gets drawn. It's like close.
You know,
All
one
right.
year. Complete side note. One year.
Go ahead, guys.
yeah, thanks.
All right. Sorry, buddy. I cut you off. Thanks for calling. Guys, if you want to call in, it's 207-407-5337, 207-40-SLEEP. Just type it in on your phone. Natter, you were about to say something. I cut you off. What's up?
Yeah, but speaking of stacks, for fun, one year I drafted Robert Woods in the 4th, and then it was last year, and then Cooper Kupp in the 5th because he fell that far. I was like, you know what? I'll take that value. So he was my wide receiver 1 and 2, the Rams wide receivers. Guess what? I won a championship that year. I mean, that's how productive that wide receiver core is.
All right, we got a couple questions coming in on the chat here. Let's grab a few of these. Some of these are riffraff. I can already tell. This is the Don's friends popping in here. But I don't know this guy. Ricky Blaze, Juju, or Corey Davis. I also have Jerry Jeudy. Who do I start?
Corey Davis is preseason hype. I really like what I see
Really?
to start out with, but
Really?
like right-
You don't even think, like, you don't even believe it a little bit?
I do. Oh, I believe it heavily, but am I willing to start Corey Davis over Juju just yet? That's tough.
Well, I think it depends on matchups. Like week 1 is still the Panthers. Like it's not a terrible spot, but I don't know who the Pittsburgh and Denver plays. I would probably take Judy first myself. Especially hearing the reports like Cortland Sutton doesn't feel fully confident yet in his abilities. So I think they're going to lean on Jerry Jeudy. We saw what he did with Teddy Bridgewater in the last preseason game. But again, it is matchups, right? But I do think Corey Davis, if you're flexing him, fine matchup for fantasy week 1 against the Panthers.
Yeah, if I had to pick a player right there, I'm going Juju all day. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, #1 in passing attempts last year, 600. Big Ben just killing it. He looked great in the preseason. I feel like Juju's his guy, especially in the slot. His target's going to be through the roof. And although I do like Jerry Jeudy's situation and talent, because he really does flash on field, I just don't think they have the balanced offense for him to really take that jump over a Juju Smith-Schuster. But on the opposite side of that coin, they're in a division where they're going to be throwing a lot. So I would say Juju and Jerry Jeudy are going to be very close. But if my gut's telling me Juju Smith-Schuster.
All right. Second part from Ricky Blaze. I have Naheem Hines and Kenyon Drake. Which one would you guys start?
Neither. But if I really have to,
Ooh.
God, that's like disgusting. I don't like either
I think
of
it's
them.
got to be Hines because doesn't Kenyon Drake play Baltimore week 1? Like I believe they're playing. Yeah, I think it's like a Sunday night game or sometime. It's not a good.
I'm not
matchup
starting.
against
I'm not starting
I
Kenyon
don't know
Drake. I'd rather
who
drop
Indy's playing, but ugh.
Yeah, we're going Hines.
Yeah, definitely Hines. I mean, Carson Wentz is back in practice throwing the football, so I do like that. But I just feel like it's his 4th year in the league. He's still young. He's very talented, and he does get a lot of work, especially with how he's used in the offense. And Kenyon Drake's a backup role on a team that really loves Josh Jacobs. So I feel like PPR-wise, Naheem Hines was a RB2, high RB2 last year, so I'd probably go that route.
Now the Colts play the Seahawks week 1, I believe. So I don't know if that changes your answer.
I don't know if they were bad against running backs or not. I forget which teams were, but I think they were beatable because the linebackers are okay, but the problem is their secondary is awful. But I mean, how are they gonna like? And then didn't Hilton get hurt today? Didn't he go down in practice? I didn't see much about that. I saw a small thing saying that it's like someone threw him a deep ball and he was laying down after practice. He's maybe a little bit hurt, but I didn't see anything following up from that.
Huh.
So
T.Y.
we'll
Hilton
see,
getting hurt.
Neither matchup is great. But I still think I would play Hines against the Seahawks for like the Ravens are just too good. Like you just don't want to even go into that Lions den, even at home.
Let's see if the caller has another question. Maybe he has an opinion or some other players we can talk about. It's Steve from Arizona. I feel like this is going to be one of our main callers this year. He's going to be like the guy that calls a couple times every week. That's fine. Steve, what do you got?
Hey, guys. First-time listener, second-time caller. So I'm wondering, one, I want to be able to interact with you guys this time and then hear what you guys' response, because I didn't hear the response last time. Question. Yeah. Looking at a depth chart of third level or fourth level at running back, are there any sleepers out there that you see that have a path to eventually contributing in fantasy football at the running back position from the third or fourth depth chart level?
Off the top of my head, Devin Singletary. And even on the same team, Matt Breida. Anybody else, guys?
Singletary is still the starter.
In theory, he's the starter, but that's kind of still disgusting. But I mean,
where are you? I honestly think Ramondre could really have a role. Like if you want to talk about a guy who even still with this news probably won't go very high, them trading Sony Michel is a big deal for him because it shows that he's going to be involved probably every week as the second back in line, and he probably was fourth before. And then there's still JJ Taylor who may get in every now and then, but it's still James White. It's still Damian Harris. But if you think Ramondre is number 3, I think now looking at it after today, there's some potential opportunity there. Outside of that, I would say maybe Eno Benjamin, if you're feeling it, he can still catch passes. He's looked decent in preseason, but I think you're kind of reaching on that front. I think Ramondre is one of the best bets as far as third running back and beyond.
Jamal Williams. I think we'd have to put him on there also.
I think Hoos would be fully comfortable with me saying Quadre Ellison. He loves that guy, and I know he's going to be one of his guys this year. Is he still within?
Is he still in Atlanta?
I think so. Let me check real quick.
How are you guys feeling about Mike Davis? I think he's going to be good.
I think so. I mean,
love Mike Davis.
He's so hyped right now.
6th round pick, 7th round pick sometimes, and it's just like
it's beautiful.
Who knows how much volume he could get? It could be insane.
The Falcons just can't run the ball properly though. That's the issue.
They just got the coordinator from
passes too, though.
Hey, they just got the guy coming over from Tennessee. I mean, that was a run heavy. That was a run heavy offense.
Offensive line though with a coach. That's the problem.
I love Arthur, but
he's a good coordinator.
You can't, but you can see that he can catch balls last year, and I think he's going to be doing a lot of that. Matt Ryan loves to dump off pass to his RBs. Mike Davis, you can get in 5th, 6th rounds early on. As far as drafting wise, you can even get him the 7th. He was a beautiful play for zero RB strategy. That's why he's getting slept on. He's only 28 years old. Former Seahawk, got to watch him run a lot. He sets the tone. People say wear and tear this, wear and tear that, but he gets the job done and he flashes on field. So huge Mike Davis fan. Do like the team that he's on, especially with Julio Jones gone. They're going to have a lot of open targets, and a lot of people think they're going to go to Russell Gage, but I feel like a lot of them could go to Mike Davis, who they brought in for a reason. They paid him for a 2-year, almost $6 million. They're going to use him. So and there's no one behind him. So Cordell Patterson, I mean, Quandre, what's his last name?
Quadre Ellison. Yeah.
Quandre Ellison. Yeah. It's just, there's not exactly. So it's like, there's not big people behind them. I just feel like for a 3-down running back, in my opinion, getting him picked up in the 5th, 6th round is just a steal.
Mm-hmm. Some other names to think about would be Ty Johnson. I feel like he's sorry, caller.
Oh, sorry about that. It just seems like whenever I look back historically, it's the dumpster fire teams that end up producing, that third or fourth back that comes out and does something the last half of the season. And I realize that dumpster fires are created from injuries and they're created from bad teams in general. That's where I target those lottery tickets. I don't know if you guys have an opinion on that.
Mm-hmm. That's perfectly fine. I mean, because they're easy to stash and nobody really wants it. You're not really fighting for scraps that nobody wants. Some other names, J.D. McKissick, Tony Pollard, if you want to hold him as a handcuff. Hines, we mentioned him earlier. A.J. Dillon, Gus Edwards. I mean, you're kind of holding handcuffs at this point. Alexander Madison, people like that.
And a lot of people aren't talking about Latavius Murray, but I think he's going to get a ton of work this year. Alvin Kamara only.
Tony Jones though.
Not really.
Tony Jones.
No, not really. I think that Latavius Murray is established. The team loves him. He gets the job done, especially in the red zone. When he reliefs Alvin Kamara, he looks great. And Alvin Kamara, he only runs it about 150 times a year. So that leaves a lot of running opportunity for Latavius Murray, especially in an offense that you can't name the wide receiver in right now.
Oh, no, I can name Lil Jordan Humphreys.
Well, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Marquez Callaway, come on. Jawan Johnson at tight end. We all know the guys. But to your point about
Trotman just got injured.
I'm kind of worried only because Sean Payton seems to really like Tony Jones. But as far as your analysis of the role has been very good to Latavius Murray. He's had over 160 carries and 600 yards the past 2 seasons. He's gotten 40 targets in 2019, and then he got 26 targets last year. So again, the role is great. But is he going to keep it going forward? That's my only fear. Like in the last preseason game, Tony Jones started, Latavius Murray was spelling him. That's not great. And then if you watch the tape, Tony Jones looked a little bit more explosive. He had 100 yards in the last preseason game. And Sean Payton came out and said if he had to name an RB2 right now, it would be Tony Jones. So that's my only fear. Like, I get that the role is great, but I don't know if Latavius has still got it when I think he's like 31 years old now. So, he's been productive. He's had that role, but can he keep it with a rookie who's kind of lighting a fire up his ass right now?
31 years old might be the reason they're holding him out and giving the rookie some touches.
That's one thing that a small little note to add is that because it is a dumpster fire and nobody's really fighting for these scraps, you can be wrong. I mean, it's not like anybody could just drop Latavius Murray and then pick up the next RB2 in that case anyway.
Yeah, not to mention the super beautiful upside. If Alvin Kamara did go down, Latavius Murray would be in the RB1 or high RB2 conversation at that point.
I was just going to add, even if Latavius Murray were to get cut for salary cap purposes, he's going to land somewhere. And he's going to probably land somewhere that wants him and will use his skill set. So just a thought. But thank you guys for taking my call, and I'll keep listening.
Thank you for calling, Steve. If you want to be like Steve in Arizona, just dial the number 207-407-5337. That's the number to call, 207-40-SLEEP on your phone. Just spell it out, and we'll take your question immediately. You got a couple other things here on the chat. That was me. JJ wants to know Tim Tebow, top 5 tight end, rolling emoji face. All right, we'll skip that one. The Don from iRock Sports. He likes
What's up, iRock? What's up, baby?
That's your buddy. Sleeperwire Who says 4 fire emojis. I'll take it. Got a couple questions from the actual Sleeper app, guys. If you're not on the Sleeper app, download it. It is one of the best resources to use in season. Plus, you can play fantasy on there. And if you want to join the Sleeperwire channel, you'll get notifications whenever we do shows and post podcasts. All right, so first one is from Too Nice. Talk to me about James Robinson. Same position as last year, also better quarterback, more depth experience with Marvin Jones. What are we thinking as far as the run game for him? So let's go around the horn. Let's start with Jordan Richards today on James Robinson.
Love James Robinson. Although I will be honest, I'm kind of fearful that he's going to be overvalued with this Travis Etienne injury. Previously, he was like an 8th, 9th round pick, which I thought was a steal because I thought he was going to maintain a lot of his rush share. And I do believe that they're going to run the ball a lot. But now with the Etienne injury, there's no longer the fears that he's not going to get all the work. And so because of that, his ADP is going to rise. People are talking 5th round, people are talking 4th round, potentially back end RB1. I'm not really buying that, but I was buying previously. So I have plenty of James Robinson already on some rosters, especially in best ball. But I am worried that he's going to be overvalued going forward as far as the community goes. And I don't think it's going to be a spot where you want to take him. And it may seem like a bit of a reach because I'm not entirely confident in that offense to produce week in and week out. But at his previous price, he was definitely worth the risk.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, J-Rob. I love J-Rob. That ETN pick in the draft has really screwed up all my drafts that I'd have. I'm in over 30 leagues, and I feel like if I could have just known that would have happened, I would have been taking J-Rob 2nd round. I love what he does on the field. 2nd in the league, undrafted free agent. he passes the eye test, hurdles guys, has a nose for the end zone. They used him so much on a team that ran the least amount in the NFL, but his output was just so brilliant. Big J-Rob fan. Only thing deterring him is Carlos Hyde, which they will be giving touches to. Not enough to discourage me at this point with ETN going on the shelf. Huge J-Rob fan. I'm trying to get him in a lot of leagues right now. I don't know if that answers your question. I just get so excited when I hear about J-Rob.
I'm going for J-Rob. You know, I would. So even without the Sony Michel trade, with the news now, I would rather have J-Rob than Darrell Henderson. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but I would easily take. No, that's not. Thank you. You know, I appreciate the vote of confidence right there. But so, to answer or to add on to a previous question of who has the best path to RB1, Carlos Hyde might have that best path now. And a late round flyer, I'll take Carlos Hyde.
We both love Carlos Hyde, former 49er, former Seahawk. I love Carlos. Actually. I love how he runs. Hey, former Seahawk, 49er, former 49er. I love Carlos Hyde, but J-Rob's he's the man. The team plays behind him, and I feel like they're going to play behind him this year again, especially with the rookie quarterback.
It's weird how the Seahawks always have or always take Niner scraps. It always feels that way, doesn't it?
It's okay, man. I mean, Cam Chancellor's cousin, you know, he shit out a little Jacquizz Tart, and he plays for your team, so I'm happy you got a little scrap.
Who has a longer career?
I'm just saying, who has a longer career? Killer Cam, man. Hall of Fame. Here we go, baby.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know. It's ending lives on fields like Vernon Davis. I know you said longer career, but that was a close call to the ER right there, brother.
All right, we got Bill Belichick in the chat today. Who would have guessed this guy had a question about who to start at running back? Joe Mixon versus Antonio Gibson in PPR. Let's not take it as week one, but let's take it as like season, since we're preseason. Let's take it full season. Mixon or Gibson? Who do you guys like?
Mixon. I'm not on that
Gibson.
Mixon.
For a whole year, I'm taking Gibson. There's no way.
You're taking Gibson?
Why? Yeah, because I think he can have more than 300 receiving yards in a season. That's why.
Not with some boy named J.D. McKissick, who's just a PPR catch monster out there. Alex Smith is not the quarterback anymore. Who's the check down?
But he can still. Antonio Gibson is the check down. What do you mean?
McKissick is the check down.
McKissick is fine, but let's not go crazy now. Okay. Joe Mixon doesn't catch all these passes. They didn't bring in Chris Evans for no reason. So don't make it seem like Antonio Gibson is not going to catch more passes than Joe Mixon, because he probably still will, and he probably still will, even if J.D. McKissick gets 80 receptions. It's just the truth. So if you're banking on Joe Burrow being this great quarterback and him not throwing the ball into the end zone, which why would they bother running the ball when they have a terrible offensive line? Not to say that Joe Mixon can't be good, but you see Antonio Gibson is already getting a lot of hype. They are bringing in a better quarterback. They're going to play at a faster pace. If he sees more receiving work, which I think we're all projecting him to see, on top of a better offense, compared to Joe Mixon, who basically didn't even play last year, has never gone over 300 yards. Now, all of a sudden, he's magically going to put it together after we've been touting him for the past 2 seasons? I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
I like the quarterback better. I like the offensive pieces better on the Bengals. I like the volume Mixon gets. There's one person behind him, maybe, but you look at the people behind a Gibson. You obviously have J.D. McKissick, third down monster. You have that new rookie he's been putting out in the preseason, Patterson, I think. And then don't forget about Peyton Barber, who they love to sneak in on the goal line. So I just don't feel like Gibson's going to get the love that the hype train on the fantasy footballers likes to put out on him. I know he's talented. I see the talent. We all see the talent.
Damn,
I just don't think he's a round 2. I just don't think he's a round 2 pick. You know what I mean? I just don't.
No, Antonio Gibson had 11 rushing touchdowns. He's not doing that again. He's not
Why not though? They have a better offense and a better.
No, they
team.
don't. Their offensive line got worse. Their offensive, they lost their right tackle and they drafted one in the 7th round. And they have a quarterback that has
better. Okay, their offensive line is a little bit worse, but do they have a better shot of moving the ball better with Curtis Samuel, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, or even Taylor Heineke if you want to throw him out there? Didn't even look that bad. That's my point. Is like they were one of the slowest offenses last year. If they play at a faster pace and they move the ball better, That's all positive signs for Antonio Gibson and the entire offense, not just Antonio Gibson.
They have a quarterback that has the motto of life is too short to check down, and he fulfills that motto. Antonio Gibson averages 54 yards per game last year. He averaged 54 rushing yards per game. And 2 of those games, he had over 150 rushing yards against the Cowboys. You subtract those games, he averages 44 rushing yards per game. That's abysmal. And if they lose their offensive line, which got worse, it could be worse. They're in a tough rushing division against the Eagles, against the Giants. I mean, 2 of those games, the Giants have one of the best rush defenses in the NFL last year. The Cowboys is going to be abysmal. Of course, you're going to enjoy that. But I mean, like, other than that, I'm not interested in Gibson. I'm skipping him all day.
Can I sway you slightly with a scheduling argument?
Yeah.
Their last 5 games are in division. So he doesn't even play in the division until the end of the season.
I got a question. Because I honestly don't know this. Who's the last RB1 that Fitzmagic produced in his offense?
He doesn't.
Well, you have to actually play a full season to produce an RB. Like, come on, guys. We don't even know if he's going to play the whole year, and that's fine. But I think that Gibson's role is safe in the offense. And so that's where with Mixon, it's like, every year it's, this is the year for Joe Mixon. And then he doesn't play even how many games did he play last year? 8? That's my problem. Mixon? Where you look at Antonio Gibson, he wasn't even a running back coming into the league. He was a fucking wide receiver. So, this guy just walks into the league, and I don't know how many yards he had. Were they at 800, 900? Maybe even had 1,000 rushing yards.
Mixon be hurting his toe. Like, when he gets injured now, they don't even call the ambulance anymore. They just call it tow truck.
Yeah, they might as well. I'm just
saying. All the while, Joe be mixing it up on the Bengals, baby. I just like the volume play, and I like the quarterback situation better.
Yeah. I definitely get the volume, but I think they're going to throw the ball a ton, just a ton. Then you're banking on Mixon getting more touchdowns, because I don't think that offensive line is going to be any better than the Washington one will. But they don't have the defense, right? Washington, again, positive game scripts. They have the defense, shorter fields, all these small things that you see in Baltimore that you may see some similarities. Obviously, not the same rushing game, but the field position will be favorable.
I like that take.
So one thing,
position and defense, baby.
One thing I will give Antonio Gibson owners the benefit of the doubt against Mixon is that the Bengals are in a much tougher division, and they might produce negative game scripts that favor Antonio Gibson more than Mixon, but I'm still taking Mixon all day.
I think Mixon's a 3-down back, so I don't think
exactly.
I don't think there's a game script.
But we've been saying that though. Are we? So if he doesn't do it this year, are we willing to admit that he's not a 3-down back?
Giovanni Bernard's gone now. And
but they brought in Chris Evans out of Michigan, rookie, been playing pretty well, catching passes out of the backfield, who could fill that role. Maybe not to the full extent, but we need to see it from, we talk about Mixon like we've seen it, but we really haven't.
We've seen glimpses though.
Yeah,
we've seen glimpses of Tony Pollard being RB1, but he still ain't, right? He's still Zeke's backup, no matter how we slice it.
Yeah, but Mixon has 2019 had over 1,000 rushing yards. 2018 he's had over 1,000 rushing yards.
2 RB1 performances. He's had 2 RB1 performances.
We're banking on Gibson's phenomenal year. He had 750 rushing yards. That's terrible. He didn't miss any games.
Last season
he's
was the only
a running back though. He's a wide receiver.
Last season was
the first time in his entire career, and you're saying, he only had 750 yards. Excuse me, that's pretty good.
Before last season,
running back.
Before last season, Mix has only missed 4 games total in his career. Before last season,
I'm not trying to say he's injury prone. I'm just saying he didn't play a lot last year, right? But I mean, last year was he's going to be a top 5 running back. He's going to see all this volume. He's going to catch passes, but we've never really seen him catch these level of passes. Where Gibson, again, he played wide receiver. I believe he had 1,000 yards rushing and receiving combined at Memphis in his last season. So he can catch passes. He can be dynamic out of the backfield. And we've seen he's a capable running back with a mere 750 yards in his rookie season.
Yeah, they're paying Mixon. They're paying Mixon. They're not paying Gibson. They're paying Mixon.
Okay, but was that a smart decision on their part? Just be honest. Was it a good idea to sign Joe Mixon, or was it a terrible decision?
I will never, ever justify paying a running back. You go the Shanahan route. You draft 2 and then just replace the other one. But that's what they did. and they might as well get their money's worth.
Even if we're saying it's never justifiable, he's not Christian McCaffrey. He's not Alvin Kamara. He's not Dalvin Cook. Even if you want to give it to Saquon Barkley, who hasn't played in 2 years, he's not Saquon Barkley. So he's not worth paying. So that's already a mistake. But that doesn't mean they're going to give him the ball just because they're paying him. I get it from a. You're saying he's 3-down running back again?
Go ahead, Jeff. My bad. I mean, we
established the 3-down part.
He's 3-down running back, and his career high in targets is how many? So if one of you has it open.
55.
Yeah, it's decent.
He on his RB1 years, he averaged 50 targets and 40 receptions. That's not horrible.
Yeah, but it's not great. Like Gibson could catch 40 passes. We all know that. I don't know how many did he catch last year? Like 30 something.
How many did J.D. McKissick catch as a borderline RB1?
He had like 110 targets, which is just it's not going to happen again. It can't.
Alex Smith is gone. That if you subtract McKissick's targets because Alex Smith is gone, you have to do the same for Antonio Gibson. You can't cherry pick one and not the other.
I'm not subtracting them. I'm just saying, like, do we really expect him to get that target share, whatever the number was? Maybe it's not 110 targets, but do we expect him to get even 80 targets?
I expect 60.
Targets? Is he going to get
60? And I expect Gibson to have 30.
McKissick, Barber, Patterson. These guys are going to eat into
Gibson's only going to have 30 targets.
I don't think it's going to be that
targets a week. 2 targets.
I don't think it's going to be that high. It's Fitzmagic we're talking about. He doesn't target. He doesn't target running.
You're talking about him like he's Derrick Henry.
I'd rather
Derrick Henry can get 30 targets. This is 17-game schedule we're talking about here. Oh God.
On the Washington offense, I'm going for the wide receivers. I want McLaurin. I want everybody on that Washington receiving side. Logan Thomas. Exactly. I want them. I don't want the running backs.
But Fitzpatrick doesn't throw to the tight end. So how does
he throws it to me? He throws it to McKessie. Gesicki. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't throw to the tight end. You gotta pick a narrative. You can't just cherry pick these narratives. Either he throws to the tight end or he doesn't. Either he throws to Gesicki or he doesn't.
Get him.
I'm just saying. To McKessie. These are the narratives that you're painting. I'm just trying to keep it consistent. You know,
now I got to look up Gesicki's
wide receivers only. He actually was pretty decent. He hit him on the seam routes, and even in the last preseason game, you saw them trying to run that play. Logan Thomas up the seam in the red zone, but I'm pretty sure Fitzpatrick overthrew him by like 5 yards or something.
That's what Fitz does.
Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But Gibson at 30 targets is like, come on.
More than that.
Come on. Like he's probably a minimum 50, and I think he has 70 plus upside if you're going for the ceiling. But I understand there are concerns of McKissick, and I am comfortable taking him late if you feel like he has a role. I will. Yeah,
but the question is him or Mixon, and all that question marks. You're still taking.
I'm saying I think that easily he could out target Mixon, which I've been talking about this whole time. But you guys don't believe in the rushing either. I think he could easily see 200 carries. He could see 50 plus targets, and at Memphis, an extremely efficient player. He had a comparable numbers to Jerry Jeudy at wide receiver. He had more touchdowns. He averaged more yards per touch. So he is basically a wide receiver playing running back as far as his efficiency goes. Will he be that efficient in the NFL? No, but he is that good, is what I'm saying. Mixon is not.
That's tough.
I'm sorry, he's just not.
I disagree.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Well, we had fun with it. That's all.
Bill Belichick got his money's worth for that question.
No, he did. He better be taking notes.
You go, Bill. Kill Bill, baby.
We got about 5 minutes left, guys. If you have a quick question you want to call in, the phone number is 207-407-5337, 207-40-SLEEP. If you can't call in today, just save it in your phone as Sleeperwire Mailsack. And the next time we're on, just hit us up on that speed dial and get right through. Last question from the chat tonight, and we may wrap it up with this. And this one, I have a feeling this guy kind of already knows what he's going to do here, but he's got the 103 pick, half-point PPR league. He wants to know who you're taking.
Derrick Henry. Easy.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Both of you guys are all in on Henry, eh? That's a tough spot for me. I kind of just flip-flop. I'll take Kamara sometimes. I'll take Henry sometimes. I'll even take Zeke sometimes, depending on format and how you feel about him. But I'm comfortable with Henry. I'll go with the group on that one. But it's a hard spot for me.
Yeah, I'll explain why. So the Saints' production, or let's see, Alvin Kamara's production without Drew Brees is a fraction of what it is with Drew Brees. And if you want to take that risk, then of course, by all means go ahead. But when you're taking this is your staple player right here. This is your best player on fantasy lineup. You better have a consistent player on your fantasy lineup. If you're using your 103 on him, you might as well go Derrick Henry, who that offense runs through Derrick Henry, and he's a big girthy guy, and he's going to get his rushing. He's going to get 30 touches a game. He might even get a reception per game.
30
that's
targets.
He might get us 30 targets.
Guaranteed.
But that being said, I would much rather have the safety net of Derrick Henry than the questionability of Alvin Kamara.
Go ahead, Jay.
Fine. I'm fair with it.
Yeah, I mean, we're going half point PPR, King Henry all day. We're going full point PPR. Alvin Kamara is going to take that slight edge. Why? Even though Drew Brees is gone, he does average 82 catches a year, and he's the centerpiece of that offense, especially with Michael Thomas gone. So through volume alone, I think that Alvin Kamara in a full point PPR should take that number 3 slot. But if we're talking about a half point PPR with the addition of Julio Jones, I feel like that box is going to be the widest it's ever been, especially when you got A.J. Brown on one side and A.J. Brown's idol, Julio Jones, on the other, and King Henry toting that rock with that big old crown on top.
Yeah.
All right. That'll do it. That'll do it for that question. I don't know if anybody else has got anything to say here. Jones 345 says Mailsack is back. No words have sounded sweeter. Jones 345. We appreciate you, man. I didn't want to play that. I want to play this. We'll head out on this. All right. So I want to thank everybody that called in. Steve, Jason, Jesus. I think that was it. But we expect you guys to start calling in every week. The Mailsack is live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. I want to thank my talent, Natter, at Top Tier Tactics _ on Twitter. We got the Don Corleone at the Don Corleone 7 on Twitter. And, of course, longtime fan favorite, Jordan Richards. He is very excited that OnlyFans has reversed its policy. And
why are you going to do that to me? You're trying to get me in trouble. You know what's funny, right? So quick little story about this. I was gonna tweet about that. Like I was like, I saw the announcement. I was like, of course they would, because why would they turn down all that money? But it's funny that you mentioned it, because I consciously saw that and I was gonna tweet it, but I was like, maybe I shouldn't, just in case. Just, you know what? Relax, Jordan. You don't gotta talk about that. It's not part of football. I didn't
clarify if you were a client or a provider, a producer of content or a connoisseur. Okay, I didn't say anything about that.
Content creator.
I am a full-time content creator. I am not a sellout.
Okay.
Don't get
He's at the boy J Rich on Twitter. You can follow him there. He specializes in Dynasty and Debbie stuff. But we'll be back probably next week, and maybe with Hoos. Hoos will probably pop in the next
Probably
3
not.
minutes. Yeah, maybe not. If you want to follow us, show your face. Sleeper app, join the Sleeperwire channel on the Sleeperwire app Facebook groups. You can look up Sleeperwire Fantasy Football Club, and we are on Twitter at Sleeperwire Show or Sleeperwire.com. It has links to everything. So we appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back with another Mail Sack next week, and we do this every Wednesday at 7. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.
Stop looking, listen.